So Friday night, they
Yep.
said, "Yo, we about to get Wade Barrett in the middle of the ring with Tiffy Time and the Diamond Queen, the Diamond Queen."
Ron Leslie produced that.
That's funny. When I first, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say off the rip, they looked like a tag team. I was confused as to why they both had outfits that were not the same but similar looking.
Awful.
What? But my immediate thought was, oh, nobody said, hey, Shorty got, you got, like there was. It didn't feel like there was no communication when they went out there, and
it's been this whole thing
during the segment.
It's not bad. It's racist, but it's not bad.
Initially, that's crazy. Initially, my thought was, oh, they're letting Tiffy Time go over. Like, you know, clearly the last couple times they had promo battles, she didn't come out the best, and for some reason she's looking better than she has the previous however many weeks. The crowd was booing. And when the crowd boos, I don't know what it is with Charlotte. I don't know what it is. It seemed like she was kind of Mimi. Was she thrown? Was she?
I don't think she was thrown. I think she was thrown, but I don't think she was thrown.
She reacts a lot to the crowd when they start doing that booing. Is my thing.
She had gotten better at not reacting to the crowd. I feel like she had gotten to a point where she had, like if it was bad the last time, the next time she figured out a way to get through it. Right. This time I was a little like, why did she play into it and why did she stop?
Right. Stopping is the crazy part.
But then when you think about it, the level of noise that can be where you can't even hear yourself speak, that could be a little disjointed too. So
it was Chicago too.
Yeah. I thought that crowd was really, really, really trash.
Throughout the night.
Throughout the night, but especially that really turned me off. Like I felt like how I felt when they were booing Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble when The Rock came out.
Damn,
2015, 2014.
It was 2015 Philly, yeah.
That's what it felt like. It felt like she couldn't even get a word in edgewise, and it was clear that they were letting Tiffy get in. And even as they're letting Tiffy get in, Tiffy wasn't even sounding like anything.
Tiffy's she don't rap. Like she's not a rapper.
No. And so I'm watching this segment and I'm just like, I'm just shouting at the screen, like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Let her speak. Let her speak. Why is she stopping? Why did she stop? And then it got really fucking weird.
Word.
And I was really disappointed for the both of them. And it made me the things that Tiffany was saying, it felt like they were pulling shit out of the bag.
Like drinking in your daddy's basement?
No, that felt like it was rehearsed.
I like
drinking in your daddy's basement.
What? I hate that.
I don't know. She said she was blindsided by her personal trauma.
Drinking in your daddy's basement. People like that. People like hearing a Minnesotan coming out of Tiffany.
What people?
The people when I posted the image on Twitter.
I think that.
Shout out Dustin.
I don't know where this goes. I honestly, at this point, I just want to see the match. I want it to be over with.
I agree. They need to just have the match and do whatever they're supposed to be doing at the end of the day.
The match would be 20 times better than the feud.
But that's the thing, right?
But even in the beginning, it was weird. It started off weird because Tiffany said, "You need to pick me." She was doing the pick me thing. So it started off weird, and now it's weirder.
Before, all right, when Charlotte Flair won the Royal Rumble, I remember a lot of people immediately being Tiffany Stratton, which
Mhm.
I don't want to say I was opposed to it, but I don't like when the match, because it feels like the legacy blonde WWE superstar and the up and coming blonde WWE superstar. I don't like that pairing as much. Like, it feels a little too obvious for me at times. So I thought I kind of wanted Charlotte to go a different route, whatever
Me
that route would
too.
be. I don't know, but I wanted her to go a different route. So this is what people wanted, and it's just crazy to think that, especially the idea. I think people are more behind Tiffany now, but it's funny to see people kind of realizing certain things about it. I mean, on Flair's side as well as Tiffany's side, because I think a lot of people. I've not heard that Tiffany was a bad promo until this program
Slick
with
had been
Charlotte
saying
Flair.
it for a while. Like Slick, talk about Pod. He's been saying this for a while when he comes into our spaces. He has been saying she's good in the ring, but I don't think that she's as good as you guys think that she is.
Right.
And it's gonna wind up coming out, and slowly but surely it came out. She's really good in the ring, but she's really not holistically good as a character.
This is her first like real WWE program.
No,
Like
she had
It's
had
her
it
first
with
babyface
Becky.
program.
Well, but I mean, she had the thing with Becky, but she was also coming off like that was still NXT.
Right, but I
was
think
good in
her
NXT.
character is very good in NXT because it's an immature character.
It worked very well. I think. I mean, and people were talking about when it happened, but I don't think people realize it right now. Like, there was a lot of time that Tiffy spent after winning that briefcase to when she cashed in.
That was
and it was too long because there was no storyline progression. Her whole thing was, I'm Tiffy time, waiting to take again, just kind of like how we were talking with Jey Uso, and once he won the Rumble, the foregone conclusion was he was going to be beating Gunther at WrestleMania. Once Tiffy won that briefcase, I think a lot of people realized, she's the one taking it off of Nia Jax. And they wrote. I watched the Bailey and Michael Satomura match in Japan, and Tiffy time ran out with the briefcase because Nia Jax, shit just happens, but she had that briefcase and would be around everywhere, but there was no progression. It was always just
her progression should have been with Nia Jax immediately after she took the thing.
Right.
That should have been because that's the person that you can go back and forth with. Right.
They had to establish her being her homegirl, I guess, because they didn't do it the way that you would think they would do it, but that's what they were doing at that time.
Right, but after she dropped the belt to her, they should have had at least a month going back and forth. He should have went to, what was that, Saturday night main event? She didn't even go another one. Yeah, like it was weird. They just completely detoured from that and then went straight into this, which she didn't even have any reps in.
Right. No, I think you're right. There should have been a program before this Charlotte Flair program on the road. The Nia Jax is confused because like D Skills, YouTube.com/Black Rasslin. D Skills and Rock are asking about Nia. D Skills was saying Nia's, but I believe Nia said that she wasn't injured, or she's shooting down rumors of her being injured and not being. It's
is that a complaint?
The thing Nia wasn't really not Nia's last. If you look at Nia's reps in the BRP 50 calendar year, it was a lot of confusion and frustration. But no, there's probably part of that because they also built Nia to be the queen of the ring as well as having that title in that time frame where maybe they should have had Tiffy take the title off of Nia earlier. Maybe she should, like Mimi was saying, maybe she should have got some of them reps during the fall and winter of last year. So by the time we got to the Rumble, she would have been at the very least seasoned enough to have a promo back and forth and not get ate up every time.
I still feel like none of that would have mattered because the path that they wanted her to go, she didn't end up going. I think this was a pivot and it didn't do well. And
what was the path?
This whole thing pooped the bed. Like she was supposed to. You give her the softball, but we've had this conversation. I'm not going to rehash anything, but I feel like I just feel like they thought one thing and it didn't work, and so they switched things up, and she got left out in the cold, and it isn't good because they didn't take care of anybody here.
Facts. They left, like you said, they left everybody out in the cold.
And I think they're saying the same thing we're saying. Well, at least the match is gonna be good.
Well, the match better. It's as much of a foregone conclusion as people feel it is. That match better be good.
No. It god dang better be good.
Because if that match is if we live through all this and that match is ass, I'm sorry, Mimi.
What'd you say?
Well, no, actually, I'm not sorry.
I was reading the comments. What'd you say?
If we get all the way to WrestleMania and Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton is ass, I was going to say sorry, but I think the thing is Charlotte would probably be fine. It'd be Tiffy would be hung out.
Charlotte is going to get hate regardless of what happens in this match.
That's a fact.
Right.
But
and that's just what it is.
She's supposed to.
Right.
But she don't want to.
Not the right hate.
Exactly. She don't want to get that hate.
That's old school stuff, man. I think
she's the vet.
No, it's
stuff.
fam, you're not wrong, but you got to get again.
What I mean is the idea of how we get to the result matters as much as the result, no matter how we get. Like, I feel like if we get there, it's good enough because of how they use things now. Like, they don't, it's not the old school way of like, you get that go away heat. Like, they know niggas is going to get go away heat. Like, for instance, a Jake Paul, whatever, Jason, whatever that nigga name is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they know he's getting go away heat, but that's
Pauly Shore.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, bro. Ooh, man, really? Hey, she's got the cones out, bro. Whoa! What are we doing here?
Hey, Twan. Hey!
Look at all y'all telling on yourself. Look at all y'all telling on yourself.
It is 9:47 in the evening. We at the very least. Let's get to another subject.
I don't agree with Sierra Wary on the match doesn't help either one. I think if the match is fire, it's gonna void all this shit before the match.
When I think the thing is,
I think them niggas in the gym with Tyson right now.
Regardless of what we're talking about, that match is like the most important part of this. At the end of if they don't have, I don't even say a banger. If they don't have a solid match at WrestleMania, all of this would have been for nothing. They almost got to go out there and put on. They at the very least walk in there like, yo, we about to have match of the night, because they've been getting so much flack. Every damn YouTube video and fucking Twitter timeline recap or whatever, it's all 0-3 block. Woo! Like, that's all I've been seeing since Friday night. And still in all, I don't care what y'all say.
Drinking in your daddy's basement.
That's the line.
No, it's fucking not. No,
oh my gosh!
That's
out of nowhere.
DDM.
Drinking in your daddy's basement.
That's what you've been
doing?
doing?
Hold on. Kofi Jamal says, is Charlotte being old in some fans' eyes a factor? It seems a bit venomous. That's the bad hate that I'm talking about that she gets.
I don't like. Is that real?
I don't know why people keep talking about the way she looks. I don't like the way people just kind of make up why they don't like her. And it's always been because of the booking. It's always because of the booking. And then you wind up throwing hate. Then this girl starts using all of this ageist stuff in her promo.
You think Tiffany hating on Charlotte because she's old?
That's how
She's
people
using
use
the
it.
timeline. But it's not. My thing is, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not, because Charlotte hasn't done that to her. Charlotte hasn't really gotten in Charlotte could get in.
Wait, she burned her in the last back and forth.
She
Right.
did
Fight
murder.
for her
Did
life
burn
like
her.
Robert Kelly.
Straight. Not talking about anything personal.
It was about the wrestling.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Hey DDM, how you doing?
Hey, it seems like I joined at just the right time.
No,
Yes,
it
you
doesn't. No,
did.
it doesn't.
Hey, Kev,
Yes, you did.
cue him up,
What was
Kev.
DDM
Drinking
doing?
in your
Cue him up,
daddy's
Kev.
basement.
No,
Tag.
in Maryland, we're getting ready for a few things on the weather front. But I agree with Mimi. It's so unfortunate, and I
Really?
just don't like it is because these critiques are coming from people who are ugly, and at the end of the day,
That's right.
you're ugly,
But you're doing what they're doing right now.
and
That's
I don't
right.
care. I don't
Right.
care. See, that's the difference. I don't
That's
care.
what it takes you.
Right.
It takes you
Right.
there.
I don't care because you don't care, so I don't care. And at the end of the day, this is a TV show. Okay. Let's remember that. It's a TV show. And these people are booked a certain way. And I'm getting ready to go on a Charlotte Flair campaign speech for like 1 to 2 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Take 5.
Here's the thing. She can't get in her father can't get in the ring and wrestle for her. She has to actually do these matches, right? So I'm tired of the whole because of Rick. Yes, she has gotten in, of course, for Rick. First of all, let's be clear. She didn't even want to do this. This wasn't even something that she was like, Daddy, I just have to wrestle. I just have to do this. If you are familiar with the story, it was due to Reed and her brother and wanting to fulfill that dream for him and that whole thing. She just happened to be good at it too. When we talk about nepotism in any business, and particularly in professional wrestling, there are plenty of wrestlers' sons who have tried to do this and failed miserably. Okay. The reality is the chick actually proved to be pretty good at it. And they could say, well, Vince booked her that way. Vince booked a lot of wrestlers' children to be with Rockets, and they still failed at the end of the day. So they can't get in the ring and wrestle with her. He can't get in the ring and do her promos for her. At the end of the day, she has to still deliver that. And what annoys me the most is people undermining her actual talent, and you like undermining the talent. You cannot like the booking. If you don't like the booking, I totally 100% support you not liking the character because of that. I get that, and I will not argue with anyone about that. But when you start attacking the skill set, when you start attacking, you can make jokes and everything like that. And Lord knows I've said some things behind closed door that may not have been the nicest, but it's never been.
That's how you gonna say it?
Like
Yeah.
people also too, I go on Charlotte Flair campaigns quite frequently on the show, and I
You
think
sure
that's
have.
knowledge. And the thing is, and I posted this in another wrestling group that I'm in online, and I said, you'll crucify Charlotte for things that a person like John Cena has done. You'll crucify Charlotte for things that Chris Jericho has done. You'll crucify Charlotte for things that a lot of other male wrestlers has done. And yes, everybody knows I love lady wrestling. However, there is a clear double standard on women in this business. I look at how the track record of how Mickie James was treated later in her career. I look at the track record of how Lita was treated later in her career. I look at the track record of how Sensational Sherry was treated later in her career. I look at the track record of how Luna Vachon was treated later in her career. Wrestling is not kind to an aging woman.
No.
A man could come out there with a caved-in chest, terrible saddlebag chin, a horrible orange tan, and they will still cheer for him and say, he still got it. But a woman who starts to show signs of aging is treated horribly in this business. And that's not me exaggerating. That's not me making it up. That is a fact.
Facts.
When a woman gets to a certain age, Charlotte is actually beating the odds, because when we look at actual wrestling careers of women, when we look at how long Lita was actually active and like a thing, it was not this long.
It's a short period of time, yeah.
It's a small window. And I'm talking about specifically at this level. I'm not talking about on the indies where
You're not looking at totality. Yeah, you're looking
I'm
at that
looking
peak time.
at
Yeah.
this at the main show, the big time, the bright
Mhm.
lights, the main event. And the reality is, even though men and wrestling fans, women alike, will say, "Oh, we want women wrestling." I watch people when I look back when I joined wrestling, go on this whole campaign about the divas need more time and we want to see more wrestling. Well, it's not going to be 20-year-olds the whole time. And what I didn't like about what Tiffany did is that, Tiffany, you're going to get old, honey. And
Yeah.
there's always another blonde waiting in the rings. Before you it was Mandy Rose. Before Mandy Rose, it was another chick. It's
Mhm.
been Stable. It's been Trish. Trish
Mhm.
actually is proven to be the best of that type of wrestler as far as longevity and being able to actually stick around and actually still get a response. But there's always another blonde. No shade. And you're not that unique looking for you to be saying all of this stuff. I think going for the ladies' marriage was low-hanging fruit. And this is why this incident proved to me why wrestlers stay in kayfabe. Because when this
They're
is
not funny enough to take shit off the head
right,
and be witty.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I understand why wrestlers stay in kayfabe, because the minute you do have that real moment, you may get an instance like this. And I do think my sis got burnt up when she made the comment about Kaiser and her DMs. That was you grasping at straws.
Yeah.
That's when you needed a good gay in your corner, because I could have roasted Tiffany for you. Like if she'd have had a good gay, because Tiffany Stratton can be read. Your fashion sense is terrible. You can't talk on the mic. Your look is unoriginal, and Charlotte is not lying. You are similar. They are positioning you to be the replacement, but the reality is, let's be serious, sis. Let's be for real. You didn't cook Charlotte Flair. Chicago did. Okay.
That's what I was
Right.
saying. That crowd
So
was
can I
hype.
can I ask a question though? Because
Yes.
the one thing that I haven't heard in this, and I feel like is a reality, is that this is the first era of real aging women, like wrestlers that have the same expectation as men. Because in former eras, the women are only there for a look,
Right.
right? And special cases, your Trish's, your leaders, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't see Ivory still around, who is an amazing actual wrestler, right? But like, this is really our first era of seeing because women's wrestling hasn't been properly respected for long enough to
Facts.
have been seeing. We haven't seen aging women wrestlers that are really good,
Well,
right? Like this is the first time. And like, Charlotte is what? She ain't 40,
No,
right? What is she?
Even
30?
if she was 40, even if she
Well,
was
no.
40.
What I'm saying, my point here though is, like, I really don't even think we at that age. We don't have none of the women, with the exception of like maybe a Trish, Alita, none of the women that we really recognize as amazing in-ring performers are old or that old, right? And so I think we're seeing it. We breaking new ground, and baby, this is America.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The breaking new ground is the real key.
We
Oscar is
seeing who
43?
these niggas
Okay.
is.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm saying, like, you think we're in a situation where when Naomi and Jade Cargill got a singles match announced for WrestleMania. Let me read
thing.
It was, this is Mania history. They said this the last time that two women competed in a WrestleMania match that wasn't for a title or some type of special stipulation was WrestleMania 22.
19.
We're about to be on WrestleMania 41. Like, I think the age of the women, whatever the case may be, I think the age in terms of WWE treating women's wrestling the same way they're treating men's wrestling, it feels we're only a couple. The evolution was when 2018. The era of WWE really treating women's wrestling for main events to just be a regular. It's still fairly new, which is sad. Is what I think fam is saying. It's a situation.
I
don't
hear.
land
I hear.
either way on it. I'm just like stating like, so this is, I feel like this is our first opportunity, but I don't even think Charlotte like that's, I guess that's my point for real, is that I don't even think Charlotte
which is why she should have never just brought it up. Like, she
Right.
should have not been talking about it, period. Nobody should be talking about it, because at the end of the day, here's what I'm going to say. On TBT, my good girl Tony came on ranking on Charlotte, talking about how Charlotte this, Charlotte that. Justin was there and then proceeded to say, I mean, I would like to see Charlotte versus Io, Charlotte versus Dakota, Charlotte versus this person, Charlotte versus that. And I was just like,
naming the same shit. Yeah.
No.
The hate that woman gets for no reason.
Well,
she's
a bad guy.
That's not, they make up shit. You can be a bad guy. You can be a bad guy and be good, and people still hate you. It makes sense. They hate Charlotte and then make up shit about Charlotte. Make up shit like she's not good.
But she's still getting the desired result. That's the thing. If I'm supposed to be a bad guy and niggas hate me, I'm at the house like, yay. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're not
But
getting
but it's a certain level of venom. And when I'm at these, and this is just for the IWC. And by the way, Chicago, like I hate Chicago crowds personally.
Y'all are wrong about that. I'm mistake. Y'all wrong about Chicago.
What you saying, man?
Bad crowd.
The problem
I disagree.
Here, and this is what nobody's touching on, is we have I like Charlotte Flair. I do. I'm going back on that. But you have somebody that y'all are calling the queen. She is a veteran in the ring. She's a veteran in the federation. She let the Chicago crowd
get to her.
Yeah, she let the Chicago crowd dictate what the fuck was going on here. She's the one.
Out of how many years?
That's not what I'm saying, Dad.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
What I'm saying is, the one time when you are needed to direct or move this shit to where it should be, you did not, and it makes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
No, it just makes this whole thing fall apart right now. It was already bad.
It's not her fault, because if
this was her fault. This was her fault.
If you're in a ring,
just told you.
If you're in an arena, we don't know. We can't say that it's her fault, because if you're in the middle of a ring, you've gotten boos before, but this level of Chicago boo, that level of boo was Dom boo. Dom can't even talk through that. I don't know who can talk through that. Who can talk through that? She probably couldn't even hear herself. She couldn't hear herself, man.
This isn't the first time in this actual beef that she got chopped up like that, though.
This was the first time it was at this level.
But
level.
You know what this reminds me of? Charlotte Flair is Nicki Minaj in this moment in wrestling, and Tiffany Stratton is Cardi B. Cardi B,
yes.
And let me run this out.
Talk about it.
Everybody pushed Cardi B because they were just tired of Nicki Minaj, not because Cardi B was actually a better artist. And time has proven that Cardi B was not. She put out one record.
That's right.
In a couple singles.
That's right.
It's 2017. Okay.
Wait a minute.
But because because people just were tired of Nicki Minaj winning, and they were tired of her, they took whatever they could get. Tiffany, I hope you understand that, honey, these people are not rooting for you because you were great. You did win on a cash in. Okay?
Damn.
These people are rooting for you because they are just tired of Charlotte Flair. And it's a distinct difference.
The funny part is Charlotte really hasn't been around the last 2 years.
Hold on. Let's take a step back, because I think everybody's forgetting what the fuck the reaction was when Charlotte came out at the Royal Rumble. Nobody's tired of Charlotte.
Yeah. They were in awe when she was walking out.
miss seeing Charlotte. It was the Chicago crowd led to them fucking up this even more than when it was already fucked up.
I do
more.
not like Chicago crowds. I'm sorry, I never did.
It's not Chicago.
It's a hardcore town.
Chicago is a wrestling city.
Mhm.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
It's just like New York City. So when you
And
get
Philly and all them, yeah.
you just gotta know your personnel.
You got to be well, and I think that's the thing, right? And because we cannot, I'm sorry, we got another episode for next week before wrestling. We can't talk Charlotte all night, but I think that's the one thing when we talk about what happened in this situation. It's the booze getting to Charlotte, and the crowd was heavy. But I think what Math is saying is in situations like that where you are the vet, you need to be the point guard. Math is saying you need to be able to maneuver the situation to where those boos don't mean nothing to what you and Tiffy Time are supposed to be doing in that
fact.
ring.
So when you talk about professional sports, professional athletes, they go into hostile environments and do what they're supposed to do. That's what the vets do.
But even Serena Williams has lost. So
but not in her biggest moment.
Have a conversation in that level. You can't even hear yourself.
I'll say this. I'm not going to make any excuses for her. I'm going to let people have their moment in the sun. No, I'm going to let people have their moment in the sun. I'm gonna let them have because Charlotte's gonna beat her ass on April 19th.
But no, that's not what
we're doing predictions next week. We're doing predictions next week.
Right.
We want a good match.
But no, the reason why Charlotte's
that's the win.
She's gonna be stiff with her because this bitch took it to she took it to another level. Okay. And the reality is I'm gonna let people have their moment in the sun. But I'm gonna also take a human moment. That lady has been through a divorce. She was just crying about that divorce. She probably came back because the only thing she know was work. And I don't personally think Charlotte was in a mental state to actually return.
I agree.
This is a different Charlotte. I will say
I agree because just like this, the last time that the divorce was brought up, because she started talking about it, and the crowd was not reacting the way that you would think they would react when you're talking about it. I don't think that shit should even be brought up.
Empathy. That's
I don't think they should have because it's the WWE universe. What do they care?
Are you expecting complex emotion from a?
That's what I'm saying.
Like that's what I'm saying. But at there's some level. There has to be some level of emotional intelligence, which at the end of the day, some wrestling fans don't have it. Some wrestling fans just don't have it. But there needs to be a tinge of that.
What you saying, Mav?
When did we find out that there was a divorce?
The weekend that she won the Royal Rumble.
The next day she won. The next day.
It was before. It was that Monday before she went because
when she started talking. It was after
she made a reference about the year and a half or whatever, and like that felt like it was part of it, and the crowd said, "Boo, boo, get the hell out!" But this is my question.
Shout out to Riley.
This is my question. Would it have made more sense instead of doing because before she went to the Rumble, they did Charlotte excellence on the yacht. You know what I mean? They had vignettes that this is money coming in. Would it have made more sense to do like a sit down interview, like a non-in-ring situation when she first came back to talk about her time since she's been off, like whether she's talking to I mean, if it's no, it's no. But what would have been? I don't want to prolong this, but I don't think her going on Raw the weekend after she won the Rumble and talking about the shit she'd been through would have also been the move because clearly the crowd said, "Fuck that, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear some other shit right now." Like, what would have made sense for Charlotte coming out?
I don't think they wanted to hear. I think. Even though they were up for her when she won, when she came back, they didn't like that she won. They didn't like that she won.
They didn't like the
So
fact that was a
regardless
fast
Right.
track to the
what she
Mania.
talked about, regardless of
That's
what
right.
she came to talk about, she
That
was
is
gonna
right.
get booed. Regardless, she should have came in there. They should have had her come in there, just look at everybody, and
told
then
y'all
walk the
niggas.
fuck out.
But
I
told
told
y'all
y'all niggas. That's right.
But-
I told y'all niggas
That's
and
what
walk
she
out.
should have did
so
from jump.
no, but wait. So before we get to the next topic, because we still got some other stuff to talk about.
Why
So-
Cody went at 30?
No,
No.
wait. So maybe the answer is everybody shut the fuck up, because clearly we're going to have to deal with this. If it's a situation where people is going to get pissed off, whether she was a face, whether she was a heel, whether
That's
she
right.
was talking about the divorce, whether she was not talking about the divorce, we got to get through whatever we got to expect. Now, Mimi, the onus is on Charlotte Flair to not get injured, because if she's gone again for another 6 months and then she comes back and it's a situation where I'm clearly equipped to face the title holder, but people aren't feeling her off of this and off of before, it's going to be even worse.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
nobody wants
just to
hard
be
time
clear,
Charlottes.
Just to be super clear, this was the first time Charlotte ever got injured the way
And
she
she was
got
injured.
She was
Facts.
never
Facts.
injured. It was always a fix that she had to fix something. Something was going on that she had to amend or whatever. It was never a big situation where she like what was it? Meniscus, this, that, and the third.
Something.
Never had that. She's never had that.
I'm still in awe.
So heavy.
As I recall, I am the only person that was at the Royal Rumble.
You was the
Right.
only person after the Royal Rumble, yes, in
I
Indianapolis.
saw Charlotte walk in.
What you
I
said?
saw the reaction.
It was
I
lit.
saw Charlotte win.
Yes,
Mhm.
it
I
was lit.
saw the reaction.
It was
wasn't.
lit.
The reaction.
It wasn't
Nick-
lit when she won.
It was lit.
Okay.
Period.
Mhm.
Like niggas wanted to see Charlotte whatever
That's
direction they went, whatever direction they went
Mhm.
when she went to Raw was on them.
Mm,
They
Yep.
was supposed- that was them.
That was the booking.
that was the crowd.
No, that was
You're
a booking.
supposed to adjust from that.
From
Yeah.
the crowd or from the booking, you're saying, man? Just so I'm clear.
What I'm saying is, if the crowd is loving you at the jump,
Mhm.
this city is hating you. I don't know what was the city that they were in.
Mhm.
Oh, who knows?
Yeah,
Arizona.
Feb 3,
Which was some actual
2025.
bullshit.
She should have said, "I'm back," and then walked out.
But that wasn't the booking wasn't for her to be a bad guy. And nobody
was.
wants to see hard time
That's not
Charlotte.
bad. That's not bad. That's not a bad guy to just say, "I'm back" with a smile and walk out.
Well, the only person that did it was Roman Reigns. They booed his ass too.
They
And
were
they
in Cleveland, February 3rd, 2025. That Raw, that was Cleveland.
Oh, they ain't care.
They didn't even leave.
They gave no fucks. They gave no fucks. Sorry, you two.
Yo, I
They
think
went into business for themselves. They were really
All the
just chanting
time.
whatever they wanted. But
I think the mistake was giving the fans the reins on this one.
They always give the fans the reins. That's the problem.
That is
pivoted
not
quick,
the
too.
problem.
Yes,
That
it
is
is.
always that's always been the
always the
relationship of
problem.
pro wrestling.
And that's
is
a bad deal. It's a bad deal.
That's what pro wrestling is, though. That's
But-
it.
Should
That's
it
what
be?
the thing is
So-
the wrestlers are here to give the fans the show that
So
to give the fans a show that the fans can react to.
you're right. You're
But
100%
you
right.
can't
on this.
dictate that. That's the thing.
But
You give-
I think
ahead.
this situation called for that. As you can see,
give it to the
You see-
fans.
I think that's the thing. I don't think Fam is wrong, but I think there are situations where those face versus heel situations can get flipped, and it's
Yes.
not for the better.
I also
I'll
think
tell you what
I
the
think
worst-
everybody
I'll
got
tell you the
worked
worst
in the
hijack.
Crybaby Kobe stuff.
I'll tell you the worst hijack ever that should have never, ever happened. And Cal, you're probably not going to like me for this.
That's fine. No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Occupy Raw should have never happened.
Never happened.
It should have never happened. And I think when
Didn't they
Occupy
book
Raw
that?
happened, that was a pivot.
Cool.
And
People were
when
pissed.
that
People were pissed.
And when that happened, when they pandered to the crowd, anything that happens after that has been some shit.
Well, because post that was what? That was Daniel Bryan, that was Yes Movement, but that was really them embracing
The crowd.
but there was no way. They didn't. All right, let's take a step back. They didn't want Daniel Bryan to be the guy. They had Batista, they had Randy, they had a couple people out
Who's
there.
they?
WWE
Whoever.
creative,
Okay.
Triple H,
Okay.
Vince McMahon, whatever. The crowd wanted Daniel Bryan, and the crowd. This is and for people who weren't watching at the time, think the Cleveland crowd after Royal Rumble, but like on HGH to like the nth degree. Kofi Mania was also that, but I think the Yes Movement was a situation where a guy wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
And it wasn't just a guy wasn't supposed to be there because WWE wasn't booking him. WWE does not book Daniel Bryan to be your world champion. That's not a thing that happens. The Yes Movement was the crowd, just like with chanting CM Punk after he left. That was the crowd saying, hey, we don't like whatever's going on. We don't like the way you're booking that guy. Just like the Push Cesaro stuff. But this was to the nth degree, to the point where not only was it was over with the fans on TV, and then like 6 months later or whatever, WWE said, hey, we can make some money off this. Let's figure out how to get Yes t-shirts. Let's figure out the Hell No tag team situation with Daniel Bryan and Kane. Like by the time, just like always, by the time WWE latched on to the fervor behind Daniel Bryan, it felt late. It was like the song had already popped on the mixtape circuit. It was already on the radio, and somebody saying, yo, you heard this new song? Yeah, I heard it. I heard it for 6 months because we've been jamming it for a minute. That's how WWE is. That was the situation.
It was a pivot that should have never happened. They should have never said, okay, the crowd wants it. Okay, they're not gonna, they keep doing this, they keep doing that. They should have never given in. They gave in. The t-shirts and all of that was giving in.
They had no choice though. They had no choice.
They had a choice. They had a choice. They absolutely had a choice. And once they took the choice of giving in, this is what we've had since that whole movement.
No, facts. But
also remember, what happens is if you push against something like that's big, which you also risk is the crowd pushing back hard,
which is what was happening. Remember, we mentioned Roman Reigns getting booed out of the Rumble. That was 10 years ago in Philly. Part of that was the same era. They did not,
but they didn't give in. They didn't give in. They didn't give in.
But Mimi,
that Roman still made money.
Mimi, that was post Daniel Bryan. That was post Yes Movement. Right. They learned at that. They said, "Yo, we're not going to worry about what the crowd's chanting right now. We're going to worry about what we're thinking about next after John Cena."
Okay. No, I hear you. You're just agreed with me. You just agreed with me.
It's facts. I mean, I'm not gonna disapprove facts, but I mean, it's a situation where WWE at some point has to either learn or they don't learn. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, there's a lesson to be learned from here. We'll see what happens after Mania. I don't know who that's one match. I genuinely don't know who's going to win, but there's a lesson to be learned from this build to this match.
I personally want Tiffany to win.
Why?
I want Tiffany to win so that people can see how this goes. I want Tiffany to win because I want people to see how this goes.
I like that.
I want her to win because now you got to prove it, sis.
Yes, yeah.
I want Charlotte to lose. I want Charlotte to beat her ass in this match, but I want Charlotte to lose. And the thing is with Charlotte, she respects Rhea Ripley. And you could tell by the matches that she gave her. You could tell that feud, people overlooked that feud, but Tiffany, the way Rhea did the aging thing too, but in a wrestling and generational kind of way, where it was not insulting. But like when Rhea used to call Charlotte Queenie, and she used to say, "Oh, I got your game, I got your number." The way Rhea did it, it was a way of, sis, I'm here now. It's my generation. This is what we did, right?
Thanks.
that the way that feud was handled, that's how you do that kind of feud. Now, part of me also likes that this is nasty because what did I say 3 weeks ago when the feud was dry? I said it needs to be nasty.
We need some extra in there, yeah.
So I can't be mad that it's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be 100% transparent and say I'm mad because my good sis didn't get her ass the way that I wanted her to get her last week.
The way we know she could get her.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Transparency.
So I'm gonna be transparent and I'm gonna keep it funky because I said it needs to get nasty like this.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I don't believe the nasty from the other end because the other end is not a talker.
Right.
So if the other if the other end gave me Rhea Ripley, if the other end gave me B-Fab, because let's not forget,
nobody's out talking B-Fab right now.
Held her own.
Nobody.
Just on the promo tip.
Mm-hmm.
We just talking. We know in the ring, absolutely not. But in the
but still look good.
Shout out B-Fab. Shout out B-Fab.
You still look good. Charlotte made her look good.
When she talked, when her and Charlotte had that exchange, it did not.
She said toe to toe. That's right. That's right.
That's
right.
It was that
B-Fab was right there. She was just like, really.
She did her thing, but
the onus is on them now to make that matter.
Right.
Facts.
Make what matter?
The stuff that B-Fab has been sneaking in,
that's right,
and they've been good. That internet promo,
they got to work it in. They got to work it in.
It's whack if they drop the ball on that. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's right there.
I've always been. Listen, it's Madden sliders. You could usually most niggas can do one thing or the other. They can really wrestle or they can really talk. And some niggas can get a mix of the two, but most of it is one or the other. And listen, B-Fab, get busy. Let her get busy.
If they could turn a Liv Morgan into what she is today, they could do it for B-Fab.
Shout out Mimi. Shout out Mimi.
Right,
no,
I'm
not giving her no credit. I'm not giving her no credit.
Yeah,
she don't no credit.
B-Fab don't gotta listen. B-Fab can talk.
Thank you so much.
No.
Sorry, what you saying, Mimi?
Hey, listen, ain't nothing gonna help you in this world, especially in America, like being a cute white girl. So listen,
she
not gonna be a cute black girl.
What is she code in WWE being a cute blonde white woman? That's what it is.
Yeah, nigga, you are the prize. Even if you are, you know what I mean, just okay.
Somebody, just not us.
Hey, that's a whole nother conversation because we know who down Pennsylvania. Anyway, listen,